Good morning, Trailer Park fans. Oh, let's hopefully I have sound. Do I have sound? First off, that's the first thing you guys would let me know. Hopefully the rock fan kicked off. I'm fine. I got sound. Okay, perfect. Yay! Can you guys see me? I actually have picture today because what a nightmare that was on Tuesday. I had it like a bit rate issue. There was no reason for my show to look the way it did on Tuesday. Thanks, DC. Oz is thinking that I just had a bad connection that day. I should have just shut the whole show down and redid it. But when you're streaming to 5 different places, that means I have to reschedule and, get new cards up everywhere. So you guys were amazing just telling me to keep going, and we did. So even though you couldn't see me, you could hear me. So that's what Tuesday was. I'm hoping today is smoother. I tell you guys, this is so fucking frustrating to do these shows because, like, today is Thursday. Pasta should be joining us, right? If you guys just came over from AM Watch or AM Wake Up, great show this morning. Yeah, the video's clear. There was no reason for it. Like on last Thursday, I had no audio. My audio crashed right as we went live. So I just told Pasta, let me just do the show tomorrow by myself, make sure all the kinks are worked out. And then, Christmas is coming. So we will get back at it. And we're talking about how we're going to, structure to hell and back in the future. So thanks for joining us, guys. Hey, Vass Adams, Vix, Shelly's here. Shelly, good morning. I got a few things on the deck from Shelly. Of course, Jilly, I got a few things on the deck from Jilly too. Dingle ate me babies hanging out. And DC, thank you for being my sound tech. I know I have a sound tech out there in the ether, and it makes me feel better. Linda, Huckafight's hanging out. Are you and Oz working? Oz, I hope you're feeling better this morning. Oz has not felt well all week. Fred Edwards, thank you, Fred. 10-4 Dinosaur, I see you. So today's show is going to be a little sad. Pasta said he's worried about tech issues. Yes, there's no rhyme or fucking reason for the issues that we have other than sabotage. Like last night, it took me an hour to schedule the rock fin, which normally takes me like 2 minutes. I have a big, powerful system with 4 monitors, 2 complete systems. There's no reason that we should have the problems that we have. And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what the hell, why are we having such bad issues? But I think we got it worked out today. I look clearer. Yeah, I'm not all pixelated like I was. I still have a little bee issues, but that's my lighting and my blonde hair. So positive vibes out to Oz. Yes, positive vibes. Let's vibe Oz well. My hot flashes are back, guys. I don't know why. Tell you what, menopause sucks. That's all I got to say about it. So let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to cover before we got into the deck? Yeah, we'll be back after Christmas with the Helen back. Of course, Oz and I are going to do our shows. We're going to do a Christmas Eve, Beauty and the Boomer. And then we're going to do a New Year's Eve, Beauty and the Boomer, our regular day anyways. And I think I've got Amber talked into coming over and hanging out on New Year's Eve. So hopefully we'll have a full-on Roar Media New Year's Eve. I love the new background. Poe has friends. Yeah, we should name Poe's friends, right? What should we name Poe's friends? How many friends does Poe have? Poe has 4 friends. Well, 3 friends, including Poe. So just trying to find a background that doesn't glitch me out. But look, my fingers are green. Damn green screen. I've been out there talking to crows. I've been doing my walking. Yeah, I got some funny video of me hanging out with some crows. I haven't put up yet, but I will. So fair use. Everything I talk about is fair use. I am just merely giving you my opinion on things. Please don't ever take anything that I say as news reporting, fact, like the Holy Grail. Go out there, do your own research, form your own opinion, no matter what anybody tells you. That's the way you're supposed to do it, right? Just listen to whatever we tell you. Buy me a coffee. Yeah, I don't know. I like Buy Me a Coffee, but for some reason they don't seem to want to give me my money. I don't know why. Maybe they think I'm too left. I thought it was a right organization, but I'll keep arguing with them. But the best way to help me out is to still just hit my PayPal. All of these platforms that we use, they take 30% right off the top for most of them. I can't even tell you what YouTube does because YouTube just like decides how much they're going to give you out of the money you make. Like, it's so insane. Like it'll say one thing one day and then it'll drop by $150 the next day. Just like, oh, okay, so whatever. So the best way to help me out is still to hit my PayPal. I know PayPal sucks, but it is what it is for right now. At least they're not taking as much as everybody else until they figure out who I am, and then of course they'll just shut me down. So we're just gonna play the odds till that happens. So bring it on. And yeah, I'm still doing the 62-mile challenge in the month of December. I am halfway through it. I'm getting stronger. I did 4 miles, a little over 4 miles yesterday. We did like 4.3 yesterday. Some days I just don't have the drive. So I'll take a day off, and then the days that I take off, then I got to make up those miles. So we've got a lot of good video up. I think I've got 6 or 7 videos up now, and I know I have 3 in the can waiting to come out. I've got a great tour of downtown Port Angeles. It was kind of a gray day, but still it was fun. We got to go down and look at all the Christmas stuff. And this weekend, we're going to go down and do a tour of the lights for the Skolom Jamestown tribe, which they do a great job of decking out, their casino and the reservation down there. So we'll go check that out. And thank you guys, everybody who has donated. And we've almost reached our goal. I'm a little over halfway there. And I got my cool St. Jude shirt the other day. So that's encouraging. So thanks, Crabapple. Crabapple Roar Media receives a tip over on the Rockfin. Hey, Rockfinners. Who's hanging out over there? Crabapple, Fred Edwards. Of course, Linda's hanging out there. Our Rockfin is growing and growing and growing. We hit 13,606 is where we're at today. So thank you to everybody who's following over on the Rockfin. Hey, Uncle Warren. Hey, Shanda, working on some things, but have you on in the background? Thanks. You know what? I'm so frustrated with these tech issues I've been having because my goal is to start having you guys on to hang out with me. We are a family. I mean, I don't even consider myself a news person, right? I just want to shoot the shit and talk opinions with people. And I can't wait to have you on, Uncle Warren. So any of you. And as soon as I get these damn tech issues worked out, I have been through 5 studios, as you guys know, and then I just found another one. So it's just insane to me. It should be simple and basic. If you want to have a person come on, that should be that simple, right? But it's not that simple. So we will get it worked out. And then I will have you guys come on. So at the beginning of the show, you guys, I got to be a little sad because we had the passing of somebody who was such an inspiration to me. And yeah, we haven't, we haven't seen a lot from Debbie in the last couple of years, but in 2016, she really helped to fire me up and show me that it didn't matter who you were, your voice counted, and you had an opinion. And sadly, the news came out that Debbie has passed. Debbie, how do you say her name? It's Laskinen. I have it. She says it herself. I have it in the deck. I've always had a problem saying her last name. And I know I'm not the only one. But Debbie really, she was the only one out there really calling Bernie out and taking him to the mat in 2016, right? We had Claudia and we had Debbie. There was so many great ones out there. This was Debbie in 2016. This was in Philadelphia. That is my Journey for Bernie mate, Richard May. Sadly, he's passed on now too. And this was in the town square. We had gone down there, I believe, for the Jill Stein speech. And I got a chance to visit with Debbie. And that wasn't the only time I got to visit with her in Philly. But, Debbie, when you watched her streams, she could get very fiery, right? To show you that passion. And I think that passion is contagious. I know I like to watch when people are fired up. Take AM Wake Up this morning. Their guest, he was dropping F-bombs and all fiery. And I think that a lot of us relate to that. And that was what was so relatable about Debbie. And her questioning everything. Instead of just taking the mainstream narrative and eating it the way it was, she would pull it apart and tear it apart and have you questioning. Even those of us who just wanted to rank and file, do what Bernie told us, do what Bernie asked, and she still had the balls to call it out, right? So I brought you guys a couple of pictures of Debbie in in Philly, and a couple of videos. I want to show you. This is her obituary. So this was posted by her son. So it's Locin, Lucina, Lucina. Anyways, Debbie passed away at 51, Windsor, Maine, on December 9th. So this was last Friday. I don't know why it took so long for all of us to hear it. I didn't hear it till Wednesday, but or Tuesday. Debbie was born in Pittsfield, Maine, on July 16th, 1971, daughter of Edmund and Elizabeth. Name I can't say. God, why can't I say that? Lucinigan. Lucinigan. We'll hear it in a second. Anyway, she had a sister and she graduated from Tectonic High School in 1989. So she was right there with us. She went on to acquire her associates from Berkshire Community College and later her bachelor's in nursing through UMass. While Debbie's last place of formal employment was at Astoner Riggs Center in Stockbridge, she devoted most of her life to creative endeavors. She was known in her community for her love of estate sales, antiques, and collectibles. She specialized in vintage clothing, toys, and Christmas. Towards the end of her life, Debbie went on to get her license in massage therapy. Her goal was to open her own, hey kitty, where she could combine her passion for herbology and healing of massage therapy. So, I mean, we know Debbie for those things. I know Debbie for a lot of other things. You know, Debbie, gosh, she really made, I, in 2016, I was petrified to come out here and do this. Like, I would never have just turned a camera on and sat down and gave my opinion out to the ether. Because who the fuck am I? I'm a recovering opiate addict that lives in a dumpy little trailer who raised 3 kids on minimum wage and has spent my fair share of time on EBT, right? So I felt like I don't have the right to say a damn word about anything. But I do have the right to say something, and it's because of Debbie that I realized that. You know, Debbie talked about domestic violence and the domestic violence that she had suffered for many years, and I so related to that. Growing up with domestic violence and then finding your own domestic violence as you get older, because it's a cycle, and that's what we do. You know, it was like, hey, wait a minute. If she can live through all of this and come out here and voice her opinion and fire people up for change, then so could I. And it took me many, many more years to be able to sit here and do what I'm doing. But it all started with Debbie, can I tell you? And so let's see. I brought a clip from Jimmy. Now, I was with Debbie this exact day. I was with Jimmy this exact day too. So this is, I want to say, July 28th, or no, what was it? Trying to remember the exact date. This was the day that Bernie pretty much screwed us all at the DNC. And early in the morning, it was 110 degrees outside. We are all melting. In every picture I'm about to show you, we're all hot. We're all wearing bandanas with ice cubes in them tied around our necks. It's like 105 degrees, 100% humidity. It was insane. It was so terrible. And then Jill Stein gets up, she does her speech, and the skies just open up. I've never seen anything like it. It just turned black instantly in downtown Philadelphia, and I have never seen a storm like hit us that night. I mean, that afternoon, that evening, it just torrentially downpoured on us. And you can kind of see in this video I'm about to play with Jimmy that the wind's kicking up. It's really gray outside, but listen to her passion. And Jimmy recognizes it. Jimmy sees it. Lusignan. Okay, no sound, guys. Hold on, let me try this again. Stop screen sharing. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Whoever is writing these programs, these software programs, fix this shit. This is just stupid. Let me try again. Entire screen. I want to share the sound to this screen. Okay, let's try again.
Not about political party for me. It's about staying true to principle, over party, and that's what it's about for me.
So what do you think about Bernie telling people, again this morning at his meeting, he told people that to vote for Hillary?
I disagree with Bernie. I absolutely respect the campaign he has run. I think he took progressive ideas out of the closet. I think he showed that you can finance a campaign in a totally different way so that we don't have to be enslaved to corporations and military industrial profiteers for our funding. However, what I think Bernie has missed is that Hillary Clinton is deeply corrupted. She's highly dishonest, and she is basically, I've covered election fraud a lot on my show, and we have really documented that this has been not so much an election, but a coup. And so I don't know how Bernie Sanders can say to vote for the person who is being installed fraudulently against the American people's will. She's being installed for the very entities that he just said we should fight for the past year. There's a cognitive disconnect there. And like I say, I have a lot of respect for Bernie, but I have no problem disagreeing with him whatsoever. And I part ways with him here.
So now what do you think of this event? Now Jill Stein just got done speaking. Now her message seemed to be that if you keep voting for the lesser of two evils, eventually we won't have a world anymore because the world is in crisis right now through climate change. That was what I heard. Is that what you heard?
The world is in crisis. Well, we can't continue on in this way that we have been on. I mean, when Bernie Sanders called for a political revolution, but the difference is between now and any other point in history is that we are at a climate tipping point. So we really are running out of time. Whether we want to do something about that or not, we are in a crisis. And so the status quo really is an option. It doesn't mean we may go down in flames, but it's not an option if we really want to solve problems. And I hate the lesser of two evils argument. To me, it reminds me of the argument you use if you are a codependent enabler and you have an abusive spouse and he says, "Oh, honey, I love you so much, baby, and if you leave, man, he's just going to treat you worse." I mean, he may break your jaw, I may break your jaw, but he'll break your legs. It's a threat. It's blackmail.
What do you say to people who say that you need to grow up and just do what's right and vote against Trump?
I say that Hillary Clinton has perpetuated a lot of the things that we fear Donald Trump might. I mean, Hillary Clinton has, you talk about people are afraid of of Donald Trump's war policies. Hillary Clinton, her policy of wanting a no-fly zone in Syria, which is going to lead us into, ground war with Russia. Hillary Clinton, if you listen to her Brookings Institute speech last September, she gave a speech to the people who were the founders of the Iraq War. Now, the Brookings Institute is a military-industrial think tank, and she said in that speech that the Iran war agreement would make it easier to go to war with Iran. And we have emails that have leaked out from WikiLeaks with her saying that she wants to go to war with Syria to benefit Israel. And additionally, it said that she wants to go to war with Iran to benefit Israel. And if we get in a war with Syria, then we would have an excuse to go to war in Iran. I don't see a lesser of two evils there. If you know what it is, Jimmy? It's the fear. And the thing that's really, really hard right now and separates, the people who are ready to act and not is understanding the game is up. They've taken it over. The government is gone. There is no right to run to, and there is no left to run to. We're going to have to come to ourselves as a people in courage and truth. And if we do that, we'll take our country back.
Courage and truth. Did anything she say there? Every single thing she said was absolutely on point. I mean, Debbie brought it back then. Is my chat not working anymore? And, so I took so much inspiration from her, especially when she talked about domestic violence and her mental health. And to know Debbie was to know that she had demons. So I was not shocked when I heard this, not one bit. I haven't even asked the deets about it, right? I don't want to know. I can assume for myself. And there's a lot of great memorials out there. People have been posting let me show you a few pictures. This was us in Philly that day. She still got the same outfit on. I ran into Debbie a lot in Philly. She was on most of the main stages. As you see here, you can see I'm sitting in the grass and watching her up on the big screen right here. And then this was her actually giving the same speech. That was probably taken by one of my Journey for Bernie mates. And let's see, what else do I have here? This one's very sad to me. So her son posted on Friday, December 9th, my mom, Debbie, passed away. We are deeply, deeply heartbroken. She fought vigilantly against her illness for so long for all of us. May she rest in peace. She so desperately deserved in life. She will be incredibly missed. And yeah, he put up a really nice little memorial. This was Dim Exit. Dim Exit was everybody like signing a piece of paper saying that they would leave the Democratic Party if Bernie Sanders was not the nominee. And yeah, they didn't care, right? We knew that they wouldn't care. So sadly. And I brought just one more little clip.
This is a time for a national dialogue to take a breath and be like, okay, maybe we're not going to know what to do for 5 minutes. Maybe we need to really speak with each other and problem solve and brainstorm. And everybody just wants to skip over this part. And that's what a lot of my videos have been. Let's talk, let's collaborate, let's stop looking for a hierarchical power structure to dictate us and understand how you take power as a people, because power is taken and not given. So how do we take power as the American people? And until we understand our own responsibility as being codependent enablers to why the system manifested, as long as we play the victim role, when you are in a victimized position, you can't take power. You can't hold power to account until we hold ourselves to account. That's a missing ingredient I'm seeing here. Let's take, how did we play? How did this situation manifest? It's manifested, it became corrupted over decades. It became corrupted over centuries. It became corrupted because we hold no ethical and moral lines of how we hold power to account. What have we operated on forever, guys? Forever. It's always compromise. We got to compromise. Well, compromise is one thing. When people say I'm puritanical, I'm not. But it's gotten so corrupted, compromise doesn't mean compromise anymore. Compromise means wholesale sellout. And so we don't have any lines what we hold politicians to account for, none. And so every time they cross a line that should be too dear to cross, every time that they betray us, we rationalize that we have to stay with them because we fear something worse. And we manifested this nightmare into existence until we as a people can get some kind of ethic and integrity and understanding of how you hold political structures to powers, which does not include celebrity worship of politicians. I'll tell you that much. We're going to be lost. So, and then questions like, how does the establishment political parties always co-opt movements to direct us right back to the feet of their oppression? And biggest question of all is, good, how do we address the power interests that are actually really truly controlling things behind the scenes? Because as we argue over political puppets and political strategies and all of that, these front men, these front women aren't really the ones driving the policies anyways. The people who are driving the policies behind the scenes are dictating to the politicians. It's not the other way around. And that is because we have banking families controlling it. We have fossil fuel overlords controlling it. We have military industrial profiteers controlling it. And then we have shadow organizations, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, and all of these organizations are staying in, and the power interests that are controlling those policies, a lot of those individuals, not all, but a lot of those individuals stay the same, no matter what administration is in charge, a Democrat or a Republican. So how do you actually target the heart of the beast? How do you have transformational politics that really change things? Because another thing that I hear all the time, we need a revolution. Viva la revolution, people's revolution. Really? Did you ever see how revolutions turn out? Have you ever studied history? Did you ever study the French Revolution? because revolutions go like this. The old regimes, they're capped. Here comes the guillotines. Here comes the pitchforks. And then, not very long after, you have the new leadership behaving exactly in the same way as the old leadership. It's a story as old as history.
Debbie, rest in peace. The peace that eluded you in life. I will carry the torch, and I just thank you. I thank you for inspiring me and so many others to stand up and let our voices be heard, because that's what it's about. And so if there's going to be a live viewing of her service tomorrow. If you're interested, you could go over to my Facebook. I know that the link's over there. There's an actual event stream set up on Facebook, or you can go to this funeral home, Flynn and Dagnoil. They are in charge of her arrangements. You can buy a plant, you can plant a tree. There's a couple of different things that you can leave a message over there. There's quite a few places that are up now that you can memorialize her if you'd like. But I just wanted to let you guys know that you can watch the service tomorrow. I want to say it's at 5:30 Eastern time, so it's in the evening. And I just love the quote that her son picked. It says, "It is usually futile to try to talk facts and analyze to people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority in their ignorance." And Thomas Sewell, great quote. So sad morning, but thank you guys for listening, and we'll move on to actual news that we don't care about. So here we go. So Sam got his picture taken, his official mugshot this week, and I'm feeling the feeling when Christmas comes early. This story still just blows my mind, and it's headlines I don't care to cover, because who does this? Who has the type of security clearance that he had and the job that he had? And the scrutiny, right? He was representing the trans fluid first, high up cabinet position. To have this happen, just who does that? It's so weird. How's Rockfin doing? I don't. My chat's being weird over on my main channel, but looks like, yeah. Why? Okay. Hey Stevie, I see you guys in here. My chat is not working. So is my stream working? Okay. That is so weird. I mean, I can see the chat if I actually go into the feed. So I was like, well, what? Oh, they don't like me no more. They don't want to talk, but you guys are over here talking. It's just, how you doing, Stevie? It's been a while. I hope December's finding you well. December is the hardest month of the year, right? It really is. So I hope everybody is loving your family, loving your friends. I mean, life's short. We all know it. I don't know. INN. Did you guys do this? Oh my gosh. So bad, but so appropriate. AOC's the scab. Shama just bringing it. I got a good little one from Jilly. I'm going to log into the third media stream and bring you towards the end of the show. And hilarious what Shama has done. So all but one of the squads crossed the picket line, voting with Dem Republican majority to break railroad workers' strike. A socialist can't be a strike breaker. This should result in expulsion from DSA. Failing that, the squad's betrayal of workers becomes DSA's betrayal. Now, DSA has been betraying for a long time, guys. I got to tell you this, living as close as I do to Shama, right around the same time that I met Debbie in 2016 and Jill Stein and all of those, I would travel the 200 miles to go hear Shama talk, right? This is when they had the movement of the 99, and it was Chris Hedges and Cornel West and, Shama, and they were going to pressure Bernie to leave the Democratic Party and to use the momentum that he had to, run independent. This was the pressure they were going to put on him. So I would go over, and there was a lot of DSA members in there, right? Because Shama's little group is not DSA, but they're kind of affiliated with DSA because they're close to each other. And I always felt that they weren't, they toe the Democratic line so freaking easy. It was shocking how quickly they would just buddy up with the Democratic narrative. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Aren't you guys supposed to be socialists? I'm really fucking confused on what's going on here. And so I'm not shocked. And I haven't been shocked, especially in the last 6 years, what we've seen DSA do. if you go and you look at where a lot of the DSA money is coming from, it is my theory that it's coming from the same donors that control the narrative in the Democratic Party. And that's why DSA has been this way. DSA has not been very inclusive for me for a long fucking time. I'm sorry, guys. I can't see the chat, so I'm going to see if I can pull it up over here. I don't want... This is what I talk about. Always something wrong. My chat just quit working in studio, so I'm going to go bring it up. This is what I talk about. Always something wrong. Okay. No, I don't want to hear myself. Now I can actually see you guys. I put it on a different screen, though. Minimize it. I don't want to miss what you guys are saying. Okay, let's see. Get back. I can't find you. There you are. Yep, now I lost my slide deck. I tell you guys, I'm just like, if this keeps happening, I'm just going to quit. I can't take this anymore. I just got to keep fighting through it, right? So yeah, whoever bought DSA's bullshit for the longest time. And yeah, they are fucking, they're busters. They're scabs. They are straight up scabs. Gross scabs. Did you guys hear Slow News Day got punked on YouTube permanently? They just kicked him off. And this is what I love about YouTube is you guys don't tell us why. You don't say, you said this wrong. You shouldn't have said this. We don't like that. They just go, well, you did a 3-hour show and something in there we don't like, so we're going to give you a strike. And a year later, they'll be like, well, you did it again, so we're just going to take your damn channel from you. So everybody living over on YouTube knows that they are short timers if they're dropping any truths. You got to head over to the platforms that support free speech. And of course, Rockfin is our #1 platform that does that. I can't even say Rumble is like that because I got my misgivings about Rumble, man. The fact that they want me to hook my YouTube and everything through it, it's like, okay, that just tells me that you're bowing to those guys. And it's only a matter of time before you start suppressing us, even though I believe we're already shadow banned in a lot of those places. So yeah, I don't pretend to know. Oh, Amber's messaging me. Good morning, Amber. So bad news. And Glory wanted you guys to remember this picture of Elon. So I decided to bring it. And yeah, we remember, Glory. We remember. Everybody kissing the ass of Elon. Oh, here's another shitlib. You see this? This guy is the absolute fucking worst. And, you know, I figured it out. He's not that smart is part of the problem. He's really just a dumbass is why he gets duped by the mainstream narrative. And come on, we all know the CIA loves to tap these guys on the shoulder to be super agents, just like George Clooney, right? So here we go. This is going to make you mad. It made me mad. Now, why do I have no sound? Oh, come on. Come on, give me sound. Give me sound. Give me sound. Give me sound. It won't give me sound. Come on, give me sound. Okay, I think I got sound now. Let's try again.
It's a cowardice of conviction. I think that it is an unwillingness to.
So if you weren't willing to take an experimental medical treatment with no long-term studies to fight a virus, that the hospitalization rate was under 1%.
What is cowardice of conviction?
I don't know what that means, and that mostly affected only the elderly and people with comorbidities. If you weren't willing to take an experimental medical treatment with no long-term studies that the media has been lying about, then you are a coward. According to Sean Penn, a guy who's in bed with Nazis and is a tool of the CIA, the FBI, and now Big Pharma.
You remember when he was...
There's no bigger fucking tool in Hollywood right at this moment than Sean Penn. He is not Elvis Presley. He's not James Dean. He's not the cool guy in the room. He's the co-opted guy working for the machine. He's the Manchurian Candidate.
Sure is, Jimmy.
That's him.
Yeah. I feel like even on some level, Colbert knows what he's doing, but I think Sean
Penn doesn't. He believes
Yeah,
it.
he's
so
stupid.
dumb, he believes it. That's how dumb Sean
Now,
Penn
if you
is.
stack him up against Bono in terms of being an absolute tool, do you think how self-aware is Bono? I don't think very.
Not.
zero self-awareness on Bono. But let's hear this. I won't stop it. We'll listen all the way through. Right.
It's a cowardice of conviction. I think that it is an unwillingness to engage in a culture of common sense that at this point it seems criminal to me. Actually,
It's
I really
criminal
feel
now.
that if someone chooses not to be vaccinated, that they should choose to stay home, not go to work, not have a job. These are, as long.
Did you hear that, Kurt? Not
Yeah.
have a job.
You don't
Sounds like he's
get
a big
job.
Chomsky fan.
You should not have a job if you're not willing to submit to the government in partnership with the biggest criminals in the history of the world, Big Pharma. If you're not willing to submit to that experimental medical procedure, then you shouldn't even be allowed to have a job.
Oh,
That's Sean Penn. Now that is something that you should have to apologize to for the rest of your life. But he will never apologize for it because that takes actual dignity and character. He only has pretend. He's an actor. He acts like he has character and integrity, and this proves he doesn't.
Hold on. Do you know what that means? Cowardice. That's a strange phrase. Moral conviction is often lauded in ordinary discourse. It means you have the conviction because your conviction. You're a coward. It doesn't mean lack of conviction. It means you have too much conviction.
So there you go. Sean Penn thinks you have too much conviction and that you're a coward. This guy, I mean, really, what has he been known for? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, being a stoner. Hollywood is a fucking bubble, and the fact that these guys think that they can preach and dictate to us, you can't have a job if you don't get jabbed. This far into it? Are you serious? Are you serious? I will never, ever, ever watch a Sean Penn anything ever again. I mean, it's with the politicians, and just like the politicians, Hollywood, we have to stop supporting this shit. And that is by turning your goddamn TVs off. And we know that about in the news, right? Well, stop watching whatever Sean Penn does on the next Netflix or Amazon. It comes down to us. And I've really tried to practice what I preach lately. And I don't support any of this shit. I would turn my Netflix off, except for you guys always like, hey, you got to watch this. So but I would with my Amazon. Oh, which reminds me, what big Bezos, who are you supporting for Christmas? Every one of us supports a billionaire for Christmas. Who's your billionaire? So I decided this year that my billionaire is not going to be Walmart or the Waltons. No, they've got enough money out of me, and they've treated me like shit this year. They treated me like a thief after I rang my own shit up and worked in their goddamn store. So I've decided to give my Christmas money to billionaire Bezos this year. So I'm doing most of my shopping online, so I don't have to go be treated like a thief at Walmart. But I wanted to show you guys this. I got a community impact report for the Puget Sound from Amazon yesterday. And it's literally 7 pages of high gloss of them propagandizing us and telling us what they're doing for us. So, okay, here's the president, Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon, building a better future together. And at a glance, this is what they're doing. So they are donating $96 million to nonprofits. And then, of course, they list all of the nonprofits that they're partnering with. And let's see, they've created 65,000 jobs in the Puget Sound. They're paying $19 plus an hour. Okay. Full benefits. Oh, yeah, because we even believe that. Free college. We'll send you to college if you come to work for Amazon. $1.2 billion in investment in upskills for our team. So if you come work for us, and we'll pay to make you smarter. Let's see, strengthening our communities. And I love this one. My favorite one is where they say they built 450,000 or 450, was it 4,500 houses? They're trying to say that they're taking on the housing problem. Yeah, creating affordable housing across the Puget Sound, a 20% increase across the board. So we have 5,000 plus affordable units are being funded across the Puget Sound region by Amazon. And they have a picture of an apartment building, and it says partnership to keep the Arches apartments affordable. Yeah, this is straight up propaganda, and why they are mailing it out to every resident in the Puget Sound speaks volumes, right? They want to be the good billionaires. So fucking billionaires. So yeah, pick your billionaire for Christmas wisely, guys. You could give it to Costco, you can give it to Walmart, you can give it to Amazon. I mean, we all know who the billionaires are. Oh, I can't even see that here, but I can see if I can see it over here. Okay, so I got this from a writer friend of mine. Some of you might recognize it. I won't put her name out here because she's a little shy, but I love this because it's so true. There is a percentage of the world's population that have woken up to what's going on, but remain silent because they fear that others will think you're crazy. Meanwhile, the people that they fear will think they're crazy also contain a percentage of awake people who are also remaining silent out of fear of being looked at as crazy. Thank God for the percentage that don't give a shit what others think about them. Shine bright, fellow crazy people. Your light has to reach further because those who are still living in fear. Yes, and you guys shine bright because we are the crazy people out there dropping the truths, right? And here's just a cute little Babylon Bee with a Canadian healthcare system introduces punch card where on your 10th visit you get a free suicide. That's not funny. It's not funny. I laugh because the truth of the reality is they want to do this shit, right? Might not be a punch card, but hey, if you're feeling down, why not? Winco is in the Pacific Northwest. DC, I know. Okay, so the other day I'm driving back from Port Angeles. I went and did a walk and I see a big billboard that says Winco Foods. And I'm like, what? Where's Winco? Because seriously, we have Safeway and Walmart. That's all we have on the Olympic Peninsula. We have two Walmarts and two Safeways, one in each town. That's all we have. There is a what is that? Quality Few QFC. QFC is on the other end of town, but they are very, very high priced and they're in the really ritzy part of town. So they cater to the millionaires that live here because I live in a retirement community. We have a lot of millionaire retirees. So honestly, I can't even afford to shop there. So I have Safeway or I have Walmart. So when I saw Winco, I was like, yes, oh my God, where did they open up? Are they in the next town over? And I just didn't see them yet. I literally came home and did some research and my nearest Winco is still 100 miles away. But why the hell that they are advertising here? I don't know. I just found that weird. Like, why are you guys advertising 100 miles to the north of where you are? But I guess people could drive down there. I don't know. I wouldn't drive a 2-hour drive just to go grocery shopping. But as much as I hate Walmart and Safeway, yeah, you never know. Oh, did you guys hear that Paul Pelosi's attacker had an arraignment? It wasn't arraignment yesterday. It was pretrial hearing. And it's funny because I didn't see this on any mainstream media. No mainstream media was out there covering this, but I did find it on a local Bay Area, you know me, I like local news. So that's what this is. So let's just hear what happened yesterday in the Paul Pelosi case.
That suspect back in court at this hour in a hearing that will determine whether or not he goes to trial. Our very own Justin Andrews was in the courtroom all morning. So Justin, what did you learn?
Well, Ryan, there were plenty of new particulars that we got from the police officer who apparently attacked David DePape. That was after DePape viciously attacked Paul Pelosi. Now, that attack was something that a lot of people were talking about after all of that happened. And that officer was actually questioned right in front of David DePape. Since our cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, we have sketches of what it looked like inside court. So we have these sketches here, and DePape had on an orange jumpsuit and appeared to be very engaged. That's a San Francisco officer gave his account of what he witnessed the morning of the attack. Now, that officer says when he and his partner responded to the Pelosi home, they rang the doorbell and saw DePape and 82-year-old Paul Pelosi in the doorway. He says both had a grip on one hammer. When his partner asked DePape to drop that 5-pound hammer, though, that's when the officer said DePape lunged at Paul Pelosi and ended up hitting Paul in the head with that hammer. In an audio recording played in court, we could hear officers yelling at DePape, that moment yelling, quote, give me your hand, and then there was a struggle. Well, there was also another audio played in court of police interviewing DePape. DePape admitted in that audio that, quote, he wanted to tie up Paul Pelosi until Nancy got there. The 911 call where you could hear Paul Pelosi on the phone with that dispatcher was played, and you can also hear DePape telling the dispatcher his own name. Eventually, Paul says DePape told him to hang up and get off the phone. That's when that call was disconnected. Prosecutors are trying to convince the judge that this case should go to trial. We talked to the DA's communications director during the court recess.
The purpose of today's hearing, once again, is to establish which charges will be moving forward to trial. We presented a number of charges, including attempted murder and others, and the expectation is that at the end of today's ruling, the judge will decide which of those charges are moving forward.
And that may or may not happen today?
May or may not. We are hopeful that it will today.
All right, so prosecutors have said today's hearing is key. They said, quote, a key milestone in this case. So there's a lot to sort through with this. We'll certainly keep you posted. We're live in San Francisco. I'm Justin Andrews. Ryan, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, I got questions. Do you guys have questions? Did you listen to that report? There was no clarity in it. It didn't make goddamn sense, and it still doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make sense. The reporting doesn't make sense. The NBC reporter who disappeared after telling a little bit of truth about the beginning of this incident, when Paul had the hammer and the dude had the hammer, and then Paul walks back in towards the dude and is talking to the dude. I mean, if you're truly in fear for your life from somebody, why are you going to go back towards him? I guess was the question all along. But the fact that, they're saying, well, they're basically begging the judge to take this to trial. This needs to go to trial. Like, it's just confusing. If they already have the evidence, and then they had a police officer testify yesterday who was there to the judge. It is still odd that it's not convincing. And we were supposed to either hear last night or today the judge's ruling. As of going live, I didn't see anything. But like I said, mainstream media is not talking about this, I guess, out of fear of being vanished. I mean, the last NBC reporter that covered this vanished. Yeah, wasn't it public? I don't know. It's so weird. No, they didn't let the public into the trial. The public wasn't allowed in there. Imagine that, guys. The public's not allowed. That's why we only get the stupid little sketches, and a couple of local reporters were allowed in, and this was one of them. So this is why I keep an eye on all of the local news channels around the country. And I'm not talking, ABC, NBC, those. Any local Channel 11, Channel 7, they're all funded by these other big companies, but a lot of times some shit leaks out because they still think they're reporters at that level, right? So we'll keep an eye on that. That story is so weird. It's so weird. Just there's something there, right? There's just something there. Let's see if I can get through this. I'm having tech issues like I always am today, but at least you guys can see me. My chat will not work. My YouTube chat, I can't pop it out. I can't use the one in the studio for some reason. So I got it up here. You guys are small, but I see you guys. So yay. Yeah, it was public. And that missing reporter, Jilly, right? The missing reporter. Where the hell is that missing reporter? I don't know. I don't think he's dead. I don't think that they abstained him, but I think they might have paid him to shut up and go away, go sit on a beach somewhere. Maybe he's sitting on Epstein Island. Who knows? So this is a game for you guys. Which one's the biggest liar? Read my lips, no new taxes. Of course, that was Bush Sr. And then you had Clinton, and I did not have sex with those women. And then you had Bush Jr. Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Then you had Obama. You can keep your insurance. And then Trump, I'll make Mexico pay for the wall. And then, of course, take these jabs. They aren't going to catch you. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't bring it because it's so bad, but did you see the video of Biden sniffing that little boy? It's so repulsive. It is so, who the fuck does that? Let alone the leader of the free world. I think you could go over to Shelly's feed and see it. I'm sure Shelly's got it up on her feed if you haven't seen it. It is the most insane thing. So all of the above, Marby Dog, you got it right. But yeah, are they equal? If there wasn't equality in here, I would have to say Trump. I would pull Trump out because I don't even compare Trump to as terrible as the rest of these guys. Wow. I know I'd take a lot of hate for saying that shit. But when I look back at Trump's presidency, I really, really can't pinpoint a lot of shit that he did that was worse than the rest of these guys, right? I mean, yeah, he toed the line in droning and he toed the line in bombing. Didn't he drop the mother of all bombs? Okay, we'll just leave Trump in there. I don't know. Who do you think is right? Who do you think is the worst? Who is the worst? I would say Daddy Bush because he started this shit when he took over the CIA without all that corruption, right? But then I don't know, Clinton's so bad. So yeah, they're all evil. Yeah. Oh my God. Biden's hosting Toys for Tots. That was a Toys for Tots, Julie. Oh, that's so bad. I hope that wasn't a Toys for Tots type of thing, but it was bad. But you know what? We knew this before Biden even announced he was running in 2020. I had been out there for the last 4 years putting videos, C-SPAN videos, 15 minutes long of him groping kids and sniffing kids and doing his touchy-feely photo shoots. And I kept calling it out, and I would get chastised on Facebook. Oh my God, how dare you go after the Republicans? When you talk shit about the Republicans, it just gives cannon fodder to the Democrats. It's truth. As long as you're telling truths, it's not giving cannon fodder to anybody. So a man accused of ejaculating in his boss's coffee every day for 4 years. That's pretty bad. Did he go to jail? I don't think he went to jail. I think he's just accused of it, right? Man accused of ejaculating in his boss's coffee every day for 4 years. I was having a talk with It's Cold Fusion about this the other day, about people who complain about their food to food workers, right? I am sorry. I will not send my food back. I don't care if the order is ass backwards wrong. I'll throw it away, give it to somebody else, but I am not sending it back because we all know what happens to your food when you send it back. So, yeah, be a dick to your boss. You might get a little extra cream in your coffee. Oh, I know that was bad, guys. That was bad. Okay, we're gonna talk about the a little bit, but I'm gonna be careful because I don't have pasta on today to keep me on the straight and narrow. So let's see what Dr. Anthony Fauci has to say.
Mr. President, first Detroit Auto Show in 3 years.
Yeah.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over. If you notice, no one's wearing masks. Everybody seems to be in pretty good shape. And so I think it's changing, and I think this is a perfect example of it.
The unique nature of this is that it's 3 years of really essentially wearing down the country. This was hopefully in the beginning when it first came out. We thought we'd have a big blip of an outbreak and it would go away and we'd be done with it. And here we are going into the 3rd year of it, and we are still in the middle of a pandemic with the numbers that you just showed. That's completely unprecedented.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over.
False, wrong, incorrect, negative, no, nay, absolutely not. Fuck that, Phil. You are a dirty, rotten liar.
He's a dirty, rotten liar. We know he's a dirty, rotten liar. He's been lying from the get-go about everything. The origin, funding, mass, safety of the I mean, come on. This is anything he ever said been true? I don't know. I don't think so. Because when you go back and you look at the research of what Fauci was doing back in the days of AIDS, I think he's been a liar forever. Jamie Deluxe has done some amazing breakdowns. Of course, T Live, go watch The Last American Vagabond, Whitney Webb. So many people have showed us the truth of Fauci and what he did for the last 25, 30 years. I can't even believe that anybody would ever take anything he says as truth, let alone that we're going into the 3rd year of this and it's much worse than it has been, because I don't see that at all. I don't know who does, but apparently they do. Let's see, what is this? Oh, guess what, guys? We have a new authoritarian at the WHO. You want to check him out? Let's see who he is. So this is, let's see if I can make it bigger so I can read it. There we go. So Jeremy Ferrara, promoted to be WHO's chief scientist after acting as lead UK lockdown advisor. So, former SAGE member Jeremy Farah, one of the most influential pro-lockdown advisors in the United Kingdom, has been considered by some to be akin to the UK's Anthony Fauci, has been given a major promotion to become chief scientist at the World Health Organization, one of the most powerful positions at the WHO, along with its director Tedros. Yeah, we know about Tedros, right? Farron is currently director of the Wellcome Trust, one of the world's most influential nonprofit and largest investors in vaccines, with countless billions in offshore funding and close ties to the Gates Foundation. Yay, congrats. Welcome to the fucking party. So that's who's going to be advising the WHO. Not like he has any alternative motive or anything like that. It's not like, he's in bed with countless billionaires with offshore funding and close ties to the Gates Foundation. So, yeah, that ought to make this fun. They just don't want this to go away, or they want it to get worse. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So I had to bring you guys a little salty. Salty gets a little salty. So let's check out Salty Cracker.
Thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near.
Oh, sorry, guys. What did I do here? How do I get rid of that? Oh, there we go. Of course.
Thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero.
Well, friends, if you were worried about COVID 2.0, COVID 20, don't worry about it. Our best and brightest big brains are working on it right now. No. Got a feeling Bill and Melinda Gates are involved in this. Yep, right there, right on the bottom. Oh, no, they're definitely going to release something then, because that's how this works. Every time they war game and exercise, whenever they're wargaming or exercising, ends up getting released, because that's the cover for how all this works. Bill Gates is laughing in the corner. oh, get him this time. Oh, I know Bill Gates. Creepiest son of a bitch on the planet. Anyhow, this is the Catastrophic Contagion Seminar meeting, if you will. Punch and Pie, over there on the 3rd floor. During all of this, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, by the way, in partnership with the WHO, and of course Bill and Melinda Gates. I'm not making any of this up, by the way. It's all right there. It's the first line. They've conducted a catastrophic contagion, a pandemic tabletop exercise at the Grand Challenges annual meetings in Brussels, Belgium, on October 23rd, 2022. No notes, though. They didn't want to have any of what they were talking about transcribed and released, because everything that they just wargamed over here is going to happen. I'm telling you right now, Abe, you're lucky you got blasted in the brain, because these people would poison you.
So that just backs up what I just said, right? So they're doing their catastrophe contagion conference over at Hopkins, and all of the players are there, all of those in the know, right? And I got to agree with Salty. Every time that they pull some shit like this, we are the ones that take it a few days later, right? I mean, Event 201, we were all talking about Event 201 as it happened. We knew what could come. I mean, I was screaming pandemic in the last week of December of 2019. I knew. I had been following what these guys were up to, what they were talking about, what they were planning for. So they tell you that is part of their evil deal, is they have to disclose what they're doing. And it's a soft disclosure to make you accept it. And we all know that. So all we have to do is tune our ears and They disclose what they're up to. So let's look at this little freaking formula. And I wanted to grab the one that had all of it broke down. But none of these things are the things that we are doing, right? We're not the ones taking private jets back and forth across the goddamn country. We're not the ones with mega mansions and mega yachts. You know, how much CO2 are we putting out with our one little tiny car? Now we can't even go to work, so we're working from home. I mean, they're trying to make it that we are the fucking problem when they are the problem. And who is going to pay for the problem? We are going to pay for the problem. And here we are screaming and yelling on the at the den. Oh, we need carbon credits and we need people to pay. Who's going to pay? We're going to pay. They're not going to fucking pay. And they're the ones doing it, right? It's their huge corporations that are mega polluting. It's their huge corporations that are dumping and destroying our waters. It's their mega corporations that refuse to get the fuck off plastic. So the whole world is going to be nothing but microplastics. It ain't us, guys. It's them. And we got to hold them to account. Yeah. This isn't a jab at people who took the jab. I'm just saying my organic immune system looking at your altered DNA. That's all. You know, it's pretty sad to hear how few of us are actually left with unaltered DNA. And I think that many people are going to have to learn to live what has happened to their bodies, right? As we go into the future. It's very sad. So, who is this? Yurki Bezimnov? I can't speak Russian. Damn it. Anyways, I love this quote. So, ideological subversion or psychological warfare changes the perception of reality to such an extreme that despite the abandonment of information, no one is able to come to a sensible conclusion in the interest of defending themselves, their family, their community, or their country. And that is exactly what has happened to us as a society, right? We've had so much psychological warfare dumped on us, and we have been turned against our brothers, our sisters, our families, that we don't know. We don't even know which way is up or down anymore. And it's sad. And yeah, that came from the KGB, but that was their plan for America, apparently. I remember watching some special on that. The KGB was like, oh, we'll just take America over one small, feeble mind at a time. And I think that's what's happened. How's the chats doing? I'm sad I can't see my chat today because you guys interacting with me is what makes this show fun. I don't like to just sit here and hear my own voice. So I'm sad. And for some reason, I can't even bring up the pop-out chat. It's died right where my in-studio chat died. It's the weirdest damn thing. Like I said, always something. Let's see. Oh, did you guys hear this one? This is insane. And the fact that there's multiple different covers of this story out there is even scarier. So people who skip their COVID vaccines are at a higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study. And this was brought to you by Fortune Well and by the Toronto Sun, because anything that says the Sun on it, I believe, but still studied unvaccinated drivers are more likely to crash. What shit is that? What shit is that? Seriously, that's just insane. Is because we're rebels? We're living on the edge? Is that what it is? I don't know. Oh, this one's going to be kind of hard to talk about because I don't know how to take this, and I want your guys' opinion on it. Did you see that there's now, and this is Next News Network or something like that. I really don't like these guys, and I don't watch a lot of what they do, but I brought it because they're the only ones talking about this. And that is, there is Epstein victims out there that say they have video proof. Now, will they release it? Will they show us? I don't know. Let's see what they have to say.
Some breaking news. An Epstein victim is bound to release videotapes showing elites engaged in deplorable acts with children. If these videos came out, it would change the game and possibly reshape global political and social landscapes. In response to breaking reports in court documents of what could potentially be released, prominent figures among the elite are already scrambling to deny any involvement or knowledge. It's yet to be seen exactly what these tapes contain, but all signs point to an event that could rock our world if it were made public. I'm Gary Franchi. You want the top news every day? Hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. Sarah Ransome's mention of sex tapes made by Jeffrey Epstein is startling, if not shocking. Not only this, but her testimony has changed everything. Her deposition released this week states that she personally viewed footage of 2 wealthy associates engaged in sexual acts with a female victim. This could give rise to the long-held belief that powerful men like Epstein were using hidden video to blackmail their friends and peers. I say expose the elite scum for who they are. It was a clever move, though, on Epstein's part, as none of the videos feature him, as testified by Ransome, yet it will still haunt her for the rest of her life. To ensure that no one else falls prey to this sort of manipulation, again, Ransome reveals that she has copies of the incriminating footage stored in secure European locations, just in case anything were to happen to her. Now, before I get into the specific details, in July, the accusers, Elizabeth Stein and Sarah Ransome, reacted to the Ghislaine Maxwell sentencing. Let's take a look.
I'm smiling. Excuse me.
A long road to justice, hasn't it?
It's been an incredibly long road to justice for myself, for many other survivors, and this is for the girls that didn't have their statements read out, the ones that were here, and sadly the ones that are still not with us, or not with us.
How did you feel
listening to her? Liz, why don't you answer this?
Is 20 years enough?
I feel like the judge took into account everything that she needed to take into account. She took into account the severity of what Maxwell and Epstein did to us. And I think that 20 years is reasonable considering all of that. So we're happy to finally have some closure and start a new chapter in our lives. This is encompassed the majority of our adult lives, and it's time to move on.
Daily Mail UK reports that Sarah Ransome's newly released deposition has rekindled allegations that Alan Dershowitz abused underage girls. In a deposition taken as part of a lawsuit filed by Virginia Guffrey against Epstein's one-time girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell, Ransome claimed she had seen footage of 2 of Epstein's associates having sex with a female victim. According to her, she was forced into a threesome with Dershowitz and an unidentified woman. Despite allegations of abuse, Dershowitz denies it. In an interview with the Daily Beast, he said, "Let me be very clear. I have had sex with only one woman since the day I met my wife." Originally from South Africa, Ransome moved to Scotland at 14. She was then recruited by Epstein to model in New York. She says Epstein used my education as a way for me to trade my soul to the devil and become a sex slave to pay for my studies. Although the college placement never materialized, Ransome claims that if she did not agree to have sex with Epstein, he would stop supporting her, leaving her penniless and with no chance.
Okay, guys. So what do you think? Do you think we're ever going to see any of these videos? I mean, I've brought you guys the FBI evidence of how many videos were in the Florida house. The safe that they cracked open, it was full of tapes, right? And we're talking old-fashioned VHS tapes, right? And then he moved up to CDs. We know that because we saw the binders that had the fucking CDs in them. They're out there. The FBI has them. I'm sure that they have them. And it's because they're protecting bigwigs. Like we have always said, it is my belief that Alan Dershowitz is the biggest douchebag on the planet. And his bullshit line of, I've only had sex with one woman since I met her. Come on, who's buying that shit? I mean, in his mind, is he one of those guys that if he pokes you in the back, then that's not having sex? I mean, I'm sure it's some stupid thing that he's got in his own head that makes him think that he can say shit like that because he's a lawyer, right? Lawyers have a way of lying, but not lying. I think Alan Dershowitz is the slimiest. It turns my stomach, even the thought of these poor women that were attacked by him. But I'm worried that these women are looking for more of a payday than a payback, and calling these guys out. I mean, I hate to say that, but we kind of seen that from a few of them. Virginia Guffrey said that she would never settle that case with Prince Andrew, and yet she did, right? And I think, I mean, I give them kudos for fighting the fight as long as they have. And I think at the end of the day, they just get tired and worn down. And Ghislaine went to jail for 20 years. So they did see some, you know, I don't know. I just kind of feel like maybe some of this is just a grab for money. But we'll see. I would love to see Alan Dershowitz go down in fucking flames. Wouldn't we all? Man, total creepy. Speaking of creepy, Fred Edwards has dropped the creepy pedo Joe clip over on the Rockfin. If you want to check that out and you haven't seen it, I'm not telling you to go watch it, but I want to make sure I didn't have any more notes on this story. No more notes on that story. Just seems weird. I don't know. I hope if she does have, 8 copies around Europe and nobody can actually take it away from her and she gets it out there, that maybe some of these guys go down, right? Because so far, not a one has gone down and we know that. Okay, let's talk about FBF. I didn't even know who FBF was. Like Amber sent me something like a week ago and she said something about FBF and I was like, who the fuck is FBF? I didn't know we were calling him an acronym, but now I know. So here we go. SBF. Was it weird timing when they arrested him? I don't know. Okay, apparently this one doesn't want to play. What is going on here today? Okay, I will come out of it. See if that works. No, that is so
Let's
weird.
Start with this whole.
Are you guys seeing this? I can hit play, but it won't play on the video playback side. It's there. The cut's there. You see the cut? What the hell? Okay, let's try play on click. Nope. Apparently they don't want you to hear this one. I wonder if this one's been taken down. What is going on here? Wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. Here, let me try updating my deck. See if that helps. So weird. Nope, didn't help. God. Well, this is what happens when we play on these services like Google. They want to shut a story down and not play it, then this is what they do. It's so weird. I can't even get it to back up. You can see it'll play over here, right?
Things that happen right under the nose of this guy. Sam's friend and associate, Gary Gensler. He's the head of the SEC under the Biden administration.
Oh, he's not evil.
One of the Democrats' biggest donors would be overlooked by the SEC.
Yes, I would say that's a coincidence.
It looks like he could have got away with it, too, if it wasn't for those pesky kids.
Those pesky kids.
He looks like one of those unmasked guys on Scooby-Doo.
He does. Oh, those pesky kids. So that was early November. And a lot of us were wondering when exactly was Sam Bankman-Fried, who was holed up in the Bahamas, actually going to be arrested and indicted. Well, that moment finally happened last night. So Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested shortly after 6 p.m. at his apartment complex, a luxury gated community in the Bahamas. The Southern District of New York brought the criminal charges initially. These were the initial charges, which could amount to over 600 years in jail.
600
now,
years.
We reported recently that the Bahamas was going to fight the United States for jurisdiction over who was going to actually investigate this case. But the Bahamas, the Bahamian prime minister, released a statement with the indictment saying, it's okay, you guys, you can take him. We're going to do our own thing. We're still going to investigate, but yeah, go ahead. So, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times had sort of warmed us up saying this is going to be a big jurisdiction fight. The Bahamas is not just going to let the U.S. have this guy. Right. I guess that was not true.
No, apparently not, because the criminal charges, including in this whole thing, I went through it this afternoon, and all of the different lawsuits include wire fraud, conspiracy, securities fraud, and money laundering. Earlier in the day, he showed up on a Twitter Spaces interview where he said he didn't think he was going to be arrested. He's no soothsayer. Because it was like just a few hours later he was arrested. But the timing of all of this is pretty darn fishy, because in less than 24 hours, Sam Bankman was set to testify before Congress. Now, this is the big question. So why the hell would authorities swoop in less than 24 hours before he is set to spill the beans in front of Congress? Testimony that could be used against him later on. So Congressman Lee Zeldin is pissed. He wants to know why. He tweeted this. Tomorrow, Sam Bankman-Fried was scheduled to testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee, was ready to grill him 6 ways to Sunday. Now, breaking tonight, SBF was just arrested.
Yes, you make a good point, because whatever he said in that testimony could absolutely be used against him in a case.
Yeah.
So if, in fact, the Justice Department wanted to indict him, they should have just let him speak, because without this forthcoming, he would absolutely have been less careful.
Yeah.
They would have so much more to work with. Why would they purposely handicap themselves in this way?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry guys, you had to watch it in the little screen. I don't know why my stuff's not working, but these are great questions. Why? Why did they arrest him right before he was about to testify? He would have gave them stuff they could have used against him to build a case. You know, a lot of people are speculating that he will get Epstein. But I don't know about that. He kind of seems real dirt, like they could manipulate him. So I don't know if they have to Epstein him. I think that he's malleable in their eyes and always has been. I mean, look at Waters blowing kisses to him and shit. Yeah, I think that he is malleable, but you never know. If he has too much information in there, they could Epstein him. But here's the thing, guys. You know, this is just a way to come after crypto. I feel personally, and they've got to crush independent crypto so that way they can release all of these digital currencies on us, right? Oh my God, money is losing its value. Well, here's a digital currency. It works better. So yeah, but did you guys hear that FTX Inner Circle had a secret chat group called Wire Fraud? I mean, if that isn't an admission of fucking guilt, I don't know what is. Haha, it's funny. This is Wire Fraud. I mean, chat. We have our little chats and our back chats, right? We call them the back channel chats, but we would never be so blatant to be calling them something like, Wire Fraud. How crazy is that? Thank you, Sister Amber, for that story. Ugh, just disgusting. I mean, if that's not an admission of guilt, I don't know what is. Oh, this story made me mad, and I hope that this story actually works. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with my deck. I have a virus on my computer, and I know I do, and I worked last night to try to get rid of it. Oz and I did, but I have to literally rip my whole browser out in order to get rid of it. So that's probably what I'll be doing this afternoon. Let's check this out. So this is in Oregon. Oregon is one of those states that demands that you return your bottles and cans for money. And that is how a lot of the homeless live from day to day, is returning bottles and cans. But it inconveniences people and they don't like the poor. So they're just going to do away with it, even though it is a state law that they have to accept it.
Many homeless people rely on returning empty bottles and cans as a form of income. It's known as canning. But as of last week, some stores on Portland's Central East Side have stopped accepting the cans because of safety concerns, even though state law says they have to take them. Blair Best has our story.
It's almost like a drill.
I make more money an hour than most people do in pretty good jobs.
One Larry Smith has down to a science.
Well, I go out and get the cans at night. Usually about 4 or 5 hours it took us to get these right here.
He's a military vet and lives in transitional housing. Canning, for him, is a full-time job.
Approximately $300 worth.
What do you use that $300 on?
First, I start every day at $110 in a hole because that's how much my hotel bill is. My girlfriend has cancer right now, so I'm working with that as well. We use it for food. We use it for cigarettes because we smoke. We have habits too, just like everybody else. And we use it for gas, my car, my truck.
For many like Larry, the People's Depot under the Morrison Bridge is the only reliable place to return bottles as of late, since nearby stores in Portland's Central East Side district are either limiting bottle return services or no longer accepting them.
I think they discriminate against people. Like Safeway and Fred Meyer's, they shut down totally. They can only give you $2.40. I used to take all my cans to Safeway.
I don't like dealing with the stores. It's always hit and miss.
Market of Choice here off Southeast Belmont is one of the places no longer accepting returnables. Now, those working inside wouldn't go on camera, but tell us that homeless people returning bottles have assaulted their staff, and they've had to call police numerous times.
A lot of these folks out here, they don't know how to react with words. They only know one way to react, and that is by violence.
Refusing to accept returnables goes against Oregon law. According to the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission, businesses could face daily fines up to $500. Those at Market of Choice are aware of the penalties and are trying to find a way to both comply and keep their staff safe.
I don't understand what the safety concerns are. Like we've been under here for close to 3 years, so we've never had the cops come here. We've never had any major fights break out.
For those at People's Depot, they'll continue to provide the lifeline many homeless people rely on, one can at a time.
That one hurts because I have been a canner in my life a couple of different times. You need diapers and you got a baby and you have no money coming in. Okay, well, if I go collect cans for half the day, then I'll get $20 and I can buy a pack of diapers and some baby formula. I have done this in my lifetime. I mean, not just cans. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so we can pick mushrooms, we can pick slough, we could pick boughs. There was lots of things that we used to be able to do, but you can't do those anymore because they've put stringent controls on the places that accept and buy this stuff. So like a lot of the places that you would sell your boughs, your mushrooms to, you have to have permits and you have to have all kinds of things. So these were ways that, the needy could keep themselves afloat, and cans is one of them. You can't really do it here where I live. I mean, you can, but we don't make as much money per can as, say, a lot of these other states that were implementing recycle, reuse, reduce policies, even though we all know that's a crock of shit, especially since COVID. I want to say it was like 80 or 90% of our recyclables were being shipped off to China pre-COVID. And then they shut it down and said, no, we're not taking it anymore. Or was it Trump? I think it was Trump that got it shut down. Maybe Trump was like, we're not doing this with you anymore. But it was right before COVID. And so a lot of places locally aren't even accepting cans or bottles because they have nowhere to ship it to. My daughter was in a rehab facility in 2019, and that's what the whole rehab facility would do is they worked at a recycle plant like every day, the whole entire, there must have been 100 people living in that. That was a big facility. They get up and they would go to this recycling plant that was down the road. And that was their job while they were in rehab, was to go through the recycling. But even they didn't have a place to send it to once they got it sorted out. So this is a problem. It's been a problem that nobody's talking about. I mean, yeah, we separate it and then what? We just let it sit in landfills for the most part, especially where I live. We don't even separate where I live. Our local waste management won't give you bins. If you want to do it on your own, that's fine. You could go out to the city dump and put it in their big, containers, but nobody does that. So we're not doing any type of recycling where I live. And, I don't even think that it's a priority. Nobody even talks about it, but it makes me sad because this is just hate. This is some uppity goddamn store that doesn't want the homeless coming around and bugging them or their customers. And they're trying to say it's because of, the homeless, and it's terrible. So shame on them. Oh, did you hear this story? This is a crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this as we get further into Elon owning Twitter. And that is Twitter has suspended the account of the track Elon Musk's private jet. So it's not just Elon. Let me find my note on this. It says the college student who tracks Elon Musk's private jet was apparently permanently banned by Twitter on Wednesday, according to the email he shared with insiders. Jack Sweeney told insiders on Wednesday that he noticed his personal accounts had been banned by Twitter several hours after the social media company took down his account. Come on. They were suspended. Okay. So not only did they suspend that, they suspended all his other accounts. So he is tracking the Kardashians. He's tracking, I can't see it. It won't let me. Maybe if I do this, go down one. There we go. So he has more than 30 other accounts that track celebrities' private jet travels, including Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, and Kim Kardashian, and Elton John. So just like I said a few slides ago, it's not us causing the problem. It's these guys causing the problem, and they don't want you to know about it. So this kid is banned, but it sounds like he's going to do some workarounds and figure out a couple of different ways. Maybe not Twitter, right? Elon's not going to let people talk shit about him on Twitter. I mean, he might for the first couple of weeks just to look cool, but ultimately he's going to do just what Jack did. And that is shut down any dissent that comes after them. So I like this after school. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe that it isn't true. And the other is to refuse to believe what is true. So yeah, that's true. What do we got? Jilly, let's go see. Okay, so I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to go grab my screen 3 and we're going to look at some of the stuff that Jilly has sent me, because Jilly has the best DMs. Let's see if I can get it. What does it look like? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Boom. Bring it in. There we go. Okay. So this is my DMs with Jilly. Jilly sends me about stuff. Okay. Of course, Shelly gets credit for the feeling when Christmas comes early. Yeah, that story. We already covered that story. Was that the one where he turns into that? I'm looking for the one where he turns into. Oh no, is it gone? This one was funny too. There, we'll check this one out.
You want it? You want
I don't know what that was, but I like Jilly's comment is electrified floor. I was looking for the one where Shama is talking to Ryan Grimm and he turns into the airplane character, the blow up autopilot from Airplane. And he just, is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay.
Yeah,
I found
yeah.
it. We'll watch it.
But
We'll watch it.
I think maybe the workers don't want to be part of this fantasy play.
What the actual fuck? We on the left, I'm not talking about people like Ryan. I mean, those of us who genuinely want to defend working people, we have the obligation to call out both elected officials who have betrayed us and also the labor leaders who have betrayed us. I don't know how much Ryan actually knows about the labor movement. I have been a rank and file member of the labor movement. I've been a delegate to the Labor Council. I have spent 10 years as an elected representative. Nobody in their right mind, Ryan, maybe despite being a political analyst, you thought that the Senate, there was any chance of the Senate voting yes on a paid sick leave bill? Yeah, Ryan Grimm doesn't worry me. The workers who are listening to this understand that he's engaging in sophistry and he's completely misrepresenting what I said. The truth, though, is it's not about Ryan Grimm. It is about people like him. We cannot trust people like Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm says, never let politicians out of your sight, while at the same time defending those same politicians who have sold out working people. I would say to working people, never let politicians out of your sight, but never let people like Ryan Grimm out of your sight. Politicians couldn't sell workers out without the Ryan Grimms of the world defending their betrayers. Politicians rely on the left cover of people exactly like Ryan here, making the rounds, making excuses for vicious attacks on the working class. Not only that, but turning around and accusing fighters for workers, socialists like myself, as somehow being against workers. I've seen this all the time in Seattle. If the Democrats on the council weren't given cover by people like them, they would not be able to do what they do, which is sell workers out over and over again.
You got knocked the fuck out, man. That was pretty cute. I gotta say, I don't know who made that, but that was funny. Turncoat Dan, I think, made it very funny. And yeah, Shama whooped his ass all over. Hey, that is my contact me. You've got mail section. If you want to send me stuff, DM me. Go ahead, send it. Now that I've got the third media machine, I can throw it up on the screen for you. So thank you, Jilly, for always keeping me in the know, and so many more of you. I mean, all day long, you guys are sending me stuff and keeping me in the know. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with the world as fast as the information's coming out. So I couldn't do it without all of you guys. I think I've got one more meme before we get out of here, but let me get my other screen back in here. There we go. Yeah, I found this one very fitting. So the sheeple on the left, the sheeple on the right. Our masters are better than your masters. No, our masters are better than their masters and your masters. Yeah, barbecue. Yummy sheeple. That's us fighting over who's going to eat us, right? Well, guys, I think I made it through another day. Please get those Christmas cards and just any kind of well wish out to Julian Assange and keep up the pressure. I see so much more conversation happening out there on social media, YouTube, Facebook about Julian Assange, especially from the mainstream peeps. And that's what we need. Yeah, I know it sucks, but that's what we need in order to push this over the edge and get Assange released and, to call out our government for this complete bullshit. So keep up the pressure. I think there is actually a lot of good Assange events coming. And please go if you're not following Comrade Misty Putin. If you want to stay up to date on everything Assange, and I mean, there's so many other of our brothers and sisters out there doing it too, but Misty's always been my go-to. So please keep up. And let's see our closing song. So I want to shout my chats out real fast, even though I couldn't really see them. Thank you guys for hanging out on their Rockfin, all of our Rockfinners. Amber King, I told Amber, I said our closing song today is dedicated to you. And it is dedicated to you, but it's dedicated to everybody because I kind of feel like everybody's going through it right now. Fred Edwards, thank you so much for always sharing us and being there for us, being the first in the room normally. Teresa Andrew or Andre, right? Teresa Andre. Thank you for joining us. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with speaking today. It's probably because I didn't get stoned this morning. Lizzie, I had my hoodie on last night. I'm going to go for a walk after this. And I love wearing my Assange hoodie as I'm coming down the trail. People coming at me, they have to see free Assange. So yay. I wear that one more than anything. Crabapple, thank you so much for the super rays over there, and we appreciate them at Roar. You guys make sure you join us. We're going to do, I think, a Roar New Year's. It'll be a Beauty and the Boomer Roar New Year's Eve type of thing. So hopefully Amber can join us from Brave New Future, and then join Oz and I this coming, let's see, Friday the 23rd is when we're going to do Beauty and the Boomer. So that way everybody has New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve off. And then New Year's Eve, of course, we're going to do our show. I told Pasta we're going to hold off until I get my tech issues figured out. I'm going to rip this browser out of here, see if I can get rid of this virus that I've got. And hopefully after Christmas, because I know he's going home to spend Christmas with Mama. So maybe after Christmas, like the Thursday after Christmas, just before New Year's, we can get it to hell and back because we love having Pasta on the show, right? Pasta makes it so much fun, even though he's always off topic. If I tell him the show topic is this, he'll bring the complete opposite foreign policy. So I just like, okay, I got to roll with it. Like we can't do topics. It's just whatever we want to talk about. And I think that's everything. Amber, do you got a show this week? I think Amber's got a show this week. So definitely be watching the Rockfin because, of course, notifications go up over there. Rockfin's where the truth lives. And a lot of our shows now don't even go up on YouTube because there's no effing point. They'll just hit us with a strike and you guys won't be able to see them anyways. So that's everything. Well, let's see. Oz, I hope you're feeling better. And thank you, everybody who joined us today. I'm sad I didn't get to interact with my chat as much as I normally do. I don't know why the chat's not working, but then I never know why nothing's not working. I'm just glad you could see me today. So thank you guys so much. Kim in Real, is it in Rogue? The print's so tiny when it's on this screen. I'm sorry. I apologize. Jilly, DC, you guys are so great over there. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, Shelly and no Kate today, but I missed you, Kate. We did notice that you weren't here, so I hope you're well. Marby Dog, thank you guys so much. And yeah, I will be back. I'll be back Saturday with Oz for Beauty and the Boomer. So definitely tune in. We've got a lot of funny refaces I've already been working on. It's going to be a fun show. So this song is called If We Make It Through December. Of course, it's an old Merle Haggard cover. And I've always loved this song. I found it on some crappy Christmas CD years ago, and my grandkids love it. It's kind of hokey country, but it really speaks to struggling in December. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you on Saturday.
If we make it through December, everything's gonna be alright, I know. It's the coldest time of winter, and I shiver when I see the falling snow. If we make it through December, town come summertime. Maybe even California. If we make it through December, we'll be fine. God lead off down at the factory, and the time is not the greatest in the world. Heaven knows I've been working hard, wanted Christmas to be right for Mama's good. I don't mean to hate December, it's meant to be the happy time of year. And my little girl don't understand why Daddy can't afford no Christmas Eve. If we make it through December, everything's gonna be alright, I know. It's the coldest time of winter, and I shiver when I see the falling snow. If we make it through December, got plans to be in a warmer town come summertime. Maybe even California. If we make it through December, we'll be fine. If we'll make it through December, got plans to be in a warmer town come summertime. Maybe even California. If we make it through December, we'll be fine. Maybe even California. If we make it through December, we'll be fine.